We're about to have like 80 some odd puff caps, right? And Ocarina is going to trigger all of them. Hello Runeterrans, it's expansion day, which means Beyond the Bandlewood is finally here. We get a whole new region, we get a bunch of wacky new cards, interesting interactions, and as I was thinking about the kind of decks I wanted to showcase early on in the expansion, specifically today, day one, I kept coming back to the exact same thought, which was the Bandle Tree. Why not start day one with the reveal that we got on day one of reveal season? But the other reason that I kept thinking about this deck is that we get to feature the new region, which is nice. And if you followed me back during the Elder Scrolls Legends, you know that I had like a mini obsession with Unite the Houses for a while, which was an alternate win condition based on the attributes in that game. And so here we're kind of doing the exact same thing with the Bandle Tree, but instead with the regions. So I just had to do it, and that's what we're going to start with. Now, if you are new, quick reminder, I do use time tags. So if you don't care about me going through the deck, you can use those to jump ahead and just watch the gameplay. If you want to get the deck code, I'm going to put that in the video description along with a link to Mobalytics in the video description. And then finally, if you are new, then you could consider subscribing. It's free. It helps me out. Hit that like button. Do all the standard YouTube stuff. But I'm going to go through the deck list and talk about my inclusions. And then we're going to go play some games. I do have physical therapy today, so I don't know how many games I'm going to be able to get through. So I want to throw that just like as a caveat here. We might not be able to pull this off for today's recording. And if we can't, then we'll maybe take another shot at it tomorrow. But I am actually on a bit of a time crunch as I'm recording this. So just bear with me here. I might try to speed through this. Our deck is a Bandle City and Bilgewater deck because Bilgewater gives us far and away the best tools for hitting these randomized regions. We start with something so simple like Jailbreak, but once you have accepted Bilgewater as your other region, it makes an awful lot of sense because we have a lot of these effects where we get to summon a random one-cost follower, and we don't really care about the power level of the cards, we just care about the region. And so Jailbreak makes an awful lot of sense here. So we're going to run 3 copies. We're running 2 copies of Proto Poro, and as we go through the list, you're going to see a lot of 2-ofs. And that's because while we have all these random generators, we also want some kind of guaranteed ways to hit certain regions, but we don't want just like a critical mass of those because we want to also still be able to play things on a curve. We want to speed things up because we are not geared to survive for long. Our entire game plan is based on blocking and stalling. And so we run 2-of on the Poro, again, 2-of on the Bomber Twins. These are just representing Freljord. This one represents Shurima. We do run a 3-of on Loping Telescope, even though this is our Targan representation, just because this also has the manifest for a multi-region follower, as well as the Epic. And so we get multiple shots at getting additional regions that way. We are running 3 copies of Mirai Warden for the same reason we're running 3 copies of Jailbreak. So when it's purely random and we get to generate additional bodies and do those things, we're running those as a 3-of. Mirai Warden is beautiful because, again, our game plan is really just to chump block forever while we are playing all of these regions. And so here we get 2 bodies and we hopefully get a region that we have not yet hit as we work toward the Bandle Tree. We got a 2-of on Kingpin because this is our main deck representation for Noxus. 3-of on Bandle City Mayor. I will say that the manifest is nice, but the multi-region discount actually ended up being far better than I thought it was going to be when I was testing this. So I actually rather like this card. But again, we run this for the manifest. Double Trouble. This is just Jailbreak ×2, which is beautiful, but also if you don't have a 1-drop, you can play this as a 2-drop because we get to use spell mana, which is also incredibly valuable. We run a 2-of of Lulu for the same reason that we run a 2-of on Proto Poro or Bomber Twins. We're not really banking on her as a champion. She's just our 2-of representation for the Ionia region. Now, we do have access to the Commando, for example, but the reason that I opted not to include it is when I was testing this during the early access part, a lot of times you'll play this and then she'll still get blocked out or she'll get killed and then you never get to the Owlcat. And so while she's great at creating those, I'd rather just go with the guaranteed, and it's only 1 more mana. So we just run a 2-of of Lulu. Petty Officer creates random 1-cost followers, so we're on 3. Aloof Travelers is our Piltover and Zon representation. We could also just change this to be Teemo, but we like the utility that this provides, both in potentially slowing them down, but also in giving us an additional draw because we need to draw our Bandle Tree, like we need to draw our win con. And so I'm currently running this. We could also run Teemo in this slot because we have 2 open champion positions here. So just keep that in mind. If you don't like travelers or you want a lower curve, you absolutely can jam Teemo there. We are running 3 copies of Navigator because again, it summons a random follower. We've got 2 copies of Poppy, which is kind of a tongue twister, I'm not gonna lie. This is our Demacian representation. We do have access to the cheaper one, that's the 1/1, but in rare instances where we're not finding the Bandle Tree, we do have a lot of cards that just let us go wide, and so we can actually use Poppy as an alternate win condition, and so that's why I'm fine with paying 1 more mana over the other, the double attack one. So I'm a big fan of Poppy here. Terror of Tenor is just our best way to include Shadow Isles. Shadow Isles is, I think, the most annoying one for us to deal with because this was like, it was this or Vigor. So we're going with this because this has the opportunity for us to create more bodies. And if our game plan is again to stall, then Tenor just ends up being better than Vigor for us in just about every way. Hidden Pathways. This card is just card draw. We're trying to find our win condition. It's pretty easy for us to hit the cost reduction with this list, and so we're including that, and then obviously a 3 of on the Bandle Tree. So this is the list. We're gonna jump on the ladder. Yeah, that's right, we're gonna play ranked with this nonsense, and we're gonna see if we can get some wins, and let's go do that now. So we're jumping into a game against Teemo and Caitlyn, which I think is actually a bit of a nightmare for our list because we are just gonna take a ton of damage that we don't really want to take. It's the reality of it. I think we want to keep our multi-region stuff. I think we keep this. We don't have a 1-drop, but this is technically a 2-drop, which helps us. And then we go 3 into multi-region 4s. The Aloof Travelers is kind of rough in this matchup because we actually help them, but we will try this. I'm also frustrated because 1, we're running into a really bad matchup, but 2, I just beat the Draven Scion discard deck. And I was apparently not recording it. Now I've double checked. I've got recording going right now. But I really wish this game had a replay feature because sometimes when you get those moments, you just don't have much to show for it. And so, cool thing to note, we have created 2 cards, which means this gets the -2 in cost. When I first previewed this card, I thought that it was very specifically like create cards in hand, but I was wrong. It is just create cards, which is even easier to fulfill. So we're gonna go ahead and we've got this covered. We've got this covered here. We don't have Noxus, so we'll snag this one. And that's unfortunate for us. There's not much that we can do about it.
Me miss? Not by a long shot.
We can at least go this route, and we landed Piltover and Zon, which is nice because now we don't have to play this. We don't want to. We're risking this fighting the dust here, but we get some damage on their Caitlyn, which could be relevant. We're already halfway to the Bandle Tree, but this is also traditionally where things start to slow down when we are talking about progress. So we're gonna do this. This does shuffle in more traps. Ah, there's the bamboozle, which again is obviously bad for us. I think we're gonna slap this down early just because we want to start getting the free units as well. We're tipping our hand. We know that they're going to start going offensively here, but we don't really have much else of an option because we are in a very bad matchup. All of my experiences, again, playing against this archetype during the early access event yesterday, were bad. For me, the Bandle Tree player, I guess I should say. So we are hoping that we can
One step ahead.
catch them a wee bit off guard, but does look like we were correct in our assumption that we are going to be eating a lot more aggression. Once you play this, like, you've tipped your hand, right? And so like they know they need to push. We're also likely going to be eating the 6-cost bomb, which is unfortunate, but we're going to get ourselves up to 7 here, which is not terrible. Still awaiting the 6-cost bomb. This is looking like a spell though. All right, Mystic Shot, that's fair. They just want to puff cap us up. Which levels up Teemo. But we could get lucky. We're at 7. Don't think we've hit Targon yet either. So we have the Targon and Ionia options. And so kind of depending on what we get here. Well, that's Freljord. So we technically have all of them. But I also think we are still going to take our shot anyway with the petty officer here, which is what you want to do. We just need to survive. So we sadly whiffed in that regard. But we are just waiting to slap this down and then survive. So we have a shot. It's going to depend on what they have. And I suspect, yeah, that we're going to see some spells that come our way as they try to jam in as many puff caps as possible. We have to assume that is their game plan. Yeah, we're going to see all of the tools coming out. We just need them to not draw a Karina is what it comes down to. A Karina right now would be pretty devastating. All right. We only took 1. Here's another mushroom, and they're going to be looking to double.
Scoping the area.
Which we can't stop the double.
See how you like it.
We can do this though. And so again, we're mostly worried about a Karina, which they again still could have. They've got the mana with the 1 card left. But I think we're looking okay outside of a Karina, because a Karina, we're about to have like 80 some odd puff caps, right? And a Karina is going to trigger all of them, which is bad for us, but we hit 10. And so we should have the victory here. We just pass and round start triggers before the draws. And so we just get a Bandle Tree victory right out of the gate against maybe our worst matchup. I will take it. Well, gang, unfortunately, that's going to have to be it for me today. While I did get 2 wins, I was not recording the first one. I feel awful about it. But as I said at the start of the recording, I do have a physical therapy appointment that I've got to get to. And I want to make sure that I get this out at a reasonable time. So we're going to call it here with just 1 game. I might revisit this list again in the future just to continue showcasing some gameplay. Good news is I've got a lot of decks that I want to feature in the coming days. And so we can also look forward to that as well. But it's just going to be 1 game. So I'm sorry. If you made it this far, as always, thank you for watching. If you're new, consider subscribing. Hit the like button. All that stuff is free and it really helps me out. And until next time, may you walk on warm sands.